Hey, I wanted to make a quick video demonstrating the use of a SDR as a Panadapter for the K3, and more importantly, being able to use the Panadapter and other apps at the same time. Like, for example, we're going to use N1MM to log and control the rig, and use SDR Play as a Panadapter and have the point and click functionality. It's really useful. Okay, so first things first, you want to identify the COM port that is your radio. Here it's COM port 4. So the trick here is that we've got to split the port so that it can be used by multiple programs. If one program uses COM port 4, then it's going to create a lock on the port and no other programs can use it. So by creating a virtual port and the splitter type, then you can share it among multiple programs. So that's what we're going to do. We're using virtual serial ports emulator. There's several different programs out there. Most of them are paid. What I'm using is the unregistered, unpaid version, and every time you open it, it'll fuss at you and want you to register it. So what we need to do is create a device, and we're going to use the type splitter because we want to split our port. We want to create a virtual port so that other programs can use it. Okay, so we're going to source, our data source is going to be COM port 4. And then what we're going to do is create a virtual COM port. I use 10. It doesn't matter what the number is. All that matters is it's not in use. Okay. So all of our programs that are going to use our radio from here on out want to look at COM port 10 in this case, the virtual port, because virtual serial ports emulator is going to put a lock on COM port 4 and you won't be able to use it. Okay, so we want to match the baud speed. I found that in my case I need to turn off DTR and RTS, otherwise it'll key the rig. I guess this creates a positive signal if it's on. Okay, alright, we have created our splitter and it has successfully started. It's initialized. So at this point we want to minimize this program, not kill it. So let's minimize that. We need OmniRig. I'm going to use OmniRig for the communication between our Panadapter and the radio for rig control. So we want to set up OmniRig, and again it needs to be looking at the virtual port that we just created. Match the baud speed, everything. Okay, so let's open SdrConsole. Alright, so again I'm using an SDR Play. Doesn't really matter what you use for the Panadapter or for the SDR portion of it. What is important is that you for the K3 you need to create an offset. So first of all, you create the definition for whatever your SDR device is. So you would go to definitions, you would search for it, and you would add whatever your SDR device is. It'll come up with a list, or you can pick one from the list. So the next thing to do is you want to create an offset. So for the K3 it needs a down converter. I've got the SDR Play connected to the IF output on the back of the rig, and the IF frequency on the K3 is 8.215 megahertz. So in this case we want to create a down converter for RX only. I just called it K3, put in the offset frequency and apply it. Okay, and then you want to select these options to show that the converter you just created, and the ability to invert the spectrum. So you select those, and then it'll make these options available when you select a radio. So we want to select the radio, you want to select the converter, and then in this case I like to use a narrow bandwidth, and then you want to invert the spectrum, because the IF, if you just look at the IF by itself and put in the offset frequency, it's inverted, so you need to invert it back so that you can read it. Okay, we want to start the radio. As you can see, the frequencies don't match. I've got the K3 on 10 meters, and right now the Panadapter's on 15 meters. So we still need to start the radio. The radio starter, I'm sorry, we need to start tracking, rig tracking. So when you first set this up, on the receive tab, there's an option in here somewhere to allow an external radio. I don't remember which of these panes it was in, but you select that, and what that does is, in the DSP pane, it gives you this external radio option. Okay, so this thing is going to be looking for OmniRig, so we already set up OmniRig. You can start it, and then you want to track the radio. And if you can see that it just lined up with, yeah, it just lined up with what's on the rig. Okay, so here's options for the external radio. I had this set up for I've got two K3s. I had it set up for each of them, but right now we're only using the one. Again, you put in the IF offset, and these offset frequencies, I got these online, and I haven't actually even used this thing on SSB, only CW so far. And anyway, the one that's important here, you don't have to select a port, it'll select it for you. I set the appearance up like I want it. The one that's important here is transmit. You want to mute the audio and reduce the IQ data. I put in 80 dB because I don't want to see a big blip on my Panadapter when I'm transmitting. Okay, well that should be good. Alright, now we're tracking the rig. So when I move the VFO, it should move the Panadapter, it does. And when I click on a frequency on the Panadapter, I want the radio's VFO to go there. Okay. One thing that I've noticed with the K3 is that, let me zoom in on this. Okay, you see he's completely centered. We're on frequency. I've got the passband set to 400 hertz. If I open the passband past 400 hertz, they no longer reside inside this window. Let me wait till he starts transmitting again. Or here, I'll just focus on this frequency. It looks like they're of course. Alright, so you see they're in the window. As soon as I open the IF, they shifted out. Now it's over here. If I close the IF, or I'm sorry, the passband again to 400 hertz or below, then it's right on the money. I'm not sure why it does that. We'll figure that out eventually. Alright, let me go off somewhere where nobody is. Alright, next thing is we want to be able to control the rig with N1MM and be able to log as well as use the Panadapter. So that was the whole point of creating the splitter and the virtual COM port. Okay. So what you want to do is set up N1MM like you normally would. And instead of looking at the COM port you normally would, you want to set it up to look at the virtual COM port that we created. So in this case, it's COM port 10, and COM port 4 is our original. Now, if I tried to use COM port 4 right now, it will not allow me to because there's a lock on that port. So, all right, we select COM port 10. Okay, so we should be able to change frequency. Yep, Panadapter followed, radio followed, that's great. See if I can find somebody real quick here at work. Alright, apparently I've already worked this guy before. Let's set the speed a little more appropriate. Make sure I've got some power. Yep. Alright. So he's not able to hear me. Let's pick one of these others. I'd like to find somebody just de-axing so I don't have to get into a big QSO with them. I worked that guy earlier. Let's try 15 meters. Alright, look here on. Alright, come on with the call sign. Let's check out what else we got here. I missed one letter there. All right. All right, I think that pretty well demonstrates. All right, we can change frequency. 20. We can change bands, whatever. Anyway, I found this to be a really useful feature, and being able to share it, being able to share the radio between programs is super invaluable. So my next step is I've got another SDR play on the way, and I plan to hook up the second K3 and start 2 instances of SdrConsole, and then I should be set up to work SO2R. All I need is the skills to back it up. So anyway, 7-3, and thanks for watching.